What does successful property investing even look like? What does a good investment property look like? What are the numbers that we should be striving for? In this video, we'll be going through 7 recent deals, 7 investment properties that illustrate what success looks like, low risk, high performing properties that you should really be targeting, you should know, and you should be striving to try to buy. Okay, if you're interested, carry on watching. My name's PK, and I help people build passive income through basically data, without needing a $15,000 buyer's agent every single time. And this channel exists to help you get ahead through property investing, through understanding the Australian economy, and through really achieving financial happiness, not to be confused with real happiness. FYI. Okay, so what you're seeing is, this is my Facebook group. Now, why am I showing you this? Is because all of the deals that I'll share, and every month I do this, right? It's hugely popular, very in-demand type of series. And all of this is tagged, is shared in my Facebook group. So all the deals are verified. I can't just make stuff up because there are more than 15,000 people amongst, in those, there are literally people with 20 properties, 30 properties. People are going to pull me up if I'm fibbing, right? That's what I'm trying to explain. So it's all verified. So just relax, drop your barriers and really understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, let's go to the first one. So charming Queenslander with 6.8% yield. Now sometimes, and as I go along, I'm going to be trying to educate you and inspire you as well, not just tell you these good properties. So 6.8% yield. Now sometimes people think, oh, high yield must be a super regional location with low growth. Now, that's not necessarily the case. You can get high yield, high growth properties. In fact, this is one right now. And you can see that, in this one, there's 20 rental applications before settlement. So sometimes people think high yield properties, they might be in whoop whoop. Who's ever going to rent it? I mean, this is a fact right here. Everyone is concerned, or you might be, I don't know, might be putting words in your mouth. People are concerned about interest rate rises. If you're investing in a super high affordability suburb where, it doesn't actually take much for locals to be able to pay their mortgage repayments off, even with higher interest rates, then interest rate rises don't have that much impact, okay? That is the kind of suburbs that you should be targeting right now. And it's really rare to get an investment grade Queenslander that's positive cash flow. Obviously, Raj, and by the way, I tag my clients, right? So you can also DM them, join my group, you can DM them. They're all nice people, they can help you as well. He bought this without a buyer's agent. He actually lives in the Gold Coast, and this is bought in regional Queensland. Purchase price $376. It didn't need more than 70,000. Rent is almost 500. I mean, this is not. I'm just not making this up. This is real. This is reality. 490 per week for a 376 purchase price. I mean, how can you get better than this? And this is rising in value. Okay, and sometimes people say, look, why are you buying such inexpensive properties? The reason is, if I buy a property for $800,000, I'm not going to be able to get this type of yield, all right, that type of rent. So in order to boost my borrowing capacity, further my borrowing capacity, I need high yield. And so therefore, this kind of 350 to 500, 550 sweet spot is a really good range to buy property. Okay, he negotiated $15,000 after the building and pest inspection. There wasn't really much wrong with it. A vacancy rate super low, block size huge. He bought it remotely, didn't catch any flights, didn't use a buyer's agent, had all the local due diligence done by local property manager, really nice people. He didn't have to catch a flight. He didn't need to blindly trust realestate.com. And the pictures on there, he had a local there do it for free for him. He's doing it himself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the property. As you can see, it's hidden by a lot of trees, but I can assure you it's pretty beautiful. Okay, next property, 2 properties in 2 months after banks rejected her. So I actually did a video with Tatiana, who's over here. Check that out. It's in, the playlist where there's client interviews. There's more than 60 client interviews here on YouTube now. But the banks actually rejected her, and she joined the course, and I gave her my mortgage broker, Jenny. And then, all of a sudden, from not being able to buy any properties to buying 2, this is her second one, 6.3% yield. Once again, interest rate proof suburb. And I've had so many people tell me in the last week, PK, I don't want to invest in property for the next 6 months. I want to just see what happens to the interest rates and the impact on property. Well, I mean, in some areas like Sydney, Melbourne, prices are going down. Other areas like Adelaide, Queensland, regional New South Wales, Perth, other places, prices keep going up. So it's like, why would you wait? Like you can't further your retirement plan. You can't further your long-term wealth generation by doing nothing. There's always money to be made. You just need to know how to make it. That's a fact. I come across as a property spruiker in saying that maybe, but that's reality. All right, so because she bought 2 properties, total fees saved, buyer's agent fees saved with $30,000. Purchase price $369. Once again, needed less than $70,000. Rent $450, which is great. We're not sacrificing growth. Once again, the data is the most important thing. It's more important than my opinion, your opinion, anyone's opinion. That is always number one, growth, capital growth. That's the engine of our wealth creation. Vacancy rate very low. Brick, block size really good. She lives in Sydney, bought this one in Queensland. So, it's all good. You can see here just, nice big backyard, brick house. You can't really go wrong. I mean, I would love to have 10 of these properties in my portfolio if I could. Another one, so this one was bought by Kaushal, you can see here. $23,000 under market value, and he's bought 2 in the last 5 months. So, you kind of suspect, right? You're like, why has he got it so cheap? Like, how does that happen? It's because the last contract crashed and the vendor was now desperate to sell that property. They needed the funds. And so he said, all right, I can be quick for you, but this is the price. And that's how he got a really good deal. And the great thing about this property is he can add another bedroom for further equity and rent uplift. It's not going to cost more than $5,000 or $10,000, but he can get so much more equity and rent. That's great opportunity. If you're looking to buy investment properties, try to find ones with some value add potential. Even if you don't want to do it straight away, have that kind of, ace in your back pocket or up your sleeve for the future. Buying below suburb median value is always a good idea. Once again, he's bought 2 properties, so he saved $30,000. Purchase price $437,500. The desktop valuation from the bank was $460, so hence this is real under market value. Total funds required less than $80. Rent $420. Okay, so this is still positive cash flow, but not as much as the others. Vacancy rate really good. 1995 build, so there's really good depreciation benefits left. We don't buy property for depreciation. Anyone who tries to sell you a property saying, huge positive cash flow because of depreciation, they're someone to not walk away from, but rather run away from. That's a spruiker, that's a scammer, you could say. Pay off your house in 7 years, depreciation benefits, rental guarantees, run, don't walk. But this is an extra bonus for us. He bought Interstate, yes, from Melbourne. Didn't catch any flights, had all the local due diligence done. Just doing it again and again by himself. Like, I didn't really help him for this one. He did it all by himself. You can see this, like, once again, nothing overly awesome about what this property looks like. We don't really care what properties look like necessarily. It's the numbers that matter, but this is beautiful nonetheless. Next property, 7.3% yield hilltop property. This is a one-of-a-kind one. Once again, interest rate proof, mountain view. So where is this, you might be asking? Buyer's agent fees saved. This was $319,000. Less than $60,000 required to get in, including transaction costs. Rent is $450. I mean, that is where this 7.3% yield is coming from. Huge positive cash flow. Even if interest rates go up 2%, I mean, this is still paying for itself and then some. Negotiated really well, good data, vacancy rate really strong, block size. You want to get a block size of above 500, but ideally above 600 in many instances. Depends on the suburbs, but this one looks really good. Once again, like most of these deals, most of my clients are living in Sydney, Melbourne, and they want to buy Interstate, right? And they don't want to catch flights. They want to have all the local due diligence done for them. They want to learn how to fish. They can rinse and repeat. Okay, so he was in Melbourne, and here it is. All right, so you can see a beautiful property. It's probably not like everyone's cup of tea, I would say. Like, not everyone would probably want to live here, but doesn't matter where you want to live. This is an investment. Treat it as an investment vehicle. Okay, if the numbers work, buy that thing. All right, next property, Adelaide. Everyone's talking about Adelaide these days, and now we're buying less and less in Adelaide. To some extent Brisbane as well, and that's because we want to buy at the bottom of the market, not when everyone is buying there. We want to be trendsetters, so to speak. All right, so this one was bought in November 2021, and it's already achieved 100% cash on cash return. What that means is it was purchased for 360, and its current valuation is 440. So it's gone up $80,000, and he only needed $65,000 to get in. So he put in $65,000, goes up by $80,000. Of course, it's not liquid cash, it's equity, but it's still more than 100% return on investment. Okay, 80 over 65. And compare this to crypto, compare this to the stock market. It's this power of leverage that property has that really allows you to catapult your wealth and get this amazing cash on cash return. Ultimately that's all that matters, right? What is the return on your cash? So once again, rent was pretty good, 380, which, you can't get this kind of yield in Adelaide anymore. 360 purchase price, 380, it's kind of rare. Like I said, this was late last year. In terms of the purchase timing, we're not really buying in Adelaide so much, even though that's what the media is talking about now. We want to be ahead of the pack, not with the pack, with all the buyer's agents. Vacancy rate really good, block size, brick, it's just good. Another client, this one's from Melbourne. You can see here, would you like to live in this property? I don't know, it's not really my style, but who cares? It's making money. Next property, 6.6% yield, interest rate rise proof, off-market Queensland property. All right, so far we've talked Perth, we've talked regional Queensland, we've talked Brisbane, talked Adelaide. We're buying everywhere except for Northern Territory and Tassie in terms of states and territories. It's positive cash flow after all expenses. Yes, that means every expense. For those of you who don't know, every single expense. That's what positive cash flow means. Suburb is growing. It's going through a growth surge. It's not just some random regional suburb where we can claim the glory of a high yield. It's actually growing and will continue to do so. This is from Kelly. I actually did a video with Kelly, a client interview. Go into the client interview playlist right here on YouTube and listen to how Kelly did this. She lives in Newcastle. She bought this completely remotely. This is in northern Queensland. Really good off-market deal. How did she get it off-market? Just by being a nice person, The people, the agents, they prefer selling to normal people like you and me as opposed to buyer's agents in many instances if we're just nice. It's not rocket science, actually. Purchase price $315,000. She didn't need more than $50,000 to get in, right? So it's not like you need to be rich to invest in property. $400 a week in rent. Positive cash flow, negotiated really well. It wasn't on real estate or domain, and she didn't use a buyer's agent. Like, anyone can get off-market deals. Go to that video that I'm mentioning and check out how she did it. Vacancy rate really good. Block size is very enviable. Brick building, like I said, her and her partner based in Newcastle. I just want to go through the rest of this. There's just so much information online. It's so easy to make mistakes. Data doesn't lie. Even though this is a bit of sales and marketing, like, it's all true. Like, this is the thing. Like, if you see results like this, and on my Facebook group, every 2 days for the last however many years, I've been posting a client result. There's literally more than 500 or even more than that, I would say, right? That constant, when a drop of water constantly hits a stone, it kind of ultimately in the long term wears that stone away. In the short term, nothing happens. Long term, something happens. So this is why I post these deals, because you might be super skeptical. You might be scared to get started. You might think I'm just some sort of spruiker. But by seeing these deals again and again and again, client interviews, verified deals, hopefully that skepticism that not only in me, but skepticism of property in general is eroding away. And you're like, I can do this too. All right. So, nice property, nothing to kind of put on a postcard or anything like that, but it's an investment vehicle. Last one, 5 properties in 18 months. This is the latest Queensland deal. So this is fantastic because it has a second dwelling plus renovation potential, so like a granny flat, positive cash flow. It's growing really fast. And Mike here, I've done an interview with him as well. He has bought 5 properties in the last 18 months, and he's done it all without a buyer's agent. Hence, at $15,000 a pop, he's saved $75,000. Just connect with that point. Just pause and really understand. If you're using a buyer's agent and you genuinely want to build a large portfolio, like, you're giving away a whole year's worth of salary or after tax, or you're giving away another property deposit to a buyer's agent. put that in your own, keep that money in your own pocket, learn how to fish. It's actually not rocket science. It's actually not that hard. You can DM Mike and ask him. This is in the Facebook group. Just search it and you'll be able to see it. $290,000 purchase price. Total funds required $50,000. Rent $380. Post a 10K reno that I was talking about. Vacancy rate's really good. Block size is huge, 809 with side access. Didn't use a buyer's agent. He's also from Melbourne. Bit of a Melbourne theme coming out these days. Yeah, and this is the property. So you can see that side access component here, all right? And you could easily put in a driveway here and subdivide it, or put a granny flat, and I'm pretty sure the council's okay with it as well. So that's all I wanted to cover, right? Why did I do this video? It was to inspire you to see what you can achieve. You know, you can't be what you can't see, to educate you. You know, sometimes there's so much information out there online. It's like, should I buy brand new? Should I buy NDS? Should I buy established? Should I buy in capital cities, close to the city, reach? You know, there's like a million different permutations. This right here is high performance property investing. It may not seem like rocket science, and that's because it's not, but this is all it takes to get out of the 9 to 5, not in 5 years, but generally 10 to 20 years, something like that. That's what's realistic. And the last reason I wanted to share this video was to actually just congratulate my clients. You know, every month I produce this kind of video, and this, you know, I haven't like cherry picked these deals, and there are so many other deals as well. You can join the Facebook group. In fact, you can see the title here. Join, see all the deals, you know, DM my clients, get to know them, amazing community. But yeah, it's a kind of a phenomenon that we're creating. And, you know, the truth is hard to digest for the establishment, for the institution, and a lot of buyers agents don't like me. But results are all that matter. My name's PK, and just remember, like, the most important real estate that you should invest in is actually between your 2 ears. So invest in that real estate first before giving me your money, giving a buyer's agent your money, giving any agent your money, spending anything. Get educated. All right, links below to all this stuff and the podcast. I wish you all the best, and catch you later. Bye.